Welcome to another edition of the Hutchinson Report podcast, Take of the Week. We're talking Trump. We're going to talk Donald Trump, President Trump. See my 45 hat. We're going to talk about Trump's latest, some would say triumphs, others would say outrages. I'm going to say outrage. Well, I'll say both, triumph and outrage. He made a great speech. He almost sounded presidential on Sunday, October 27th, when he talked about getting the bad guy, the ISIS bad guy. We nailed him. You know, who could be against that except ISIS and maybe the guy's relatives and friends? But the fact of the matter is, he looked and sounded presidential. That's not a small thing, because Trump, coming on the heels of some other things, hasn't sounded and looked so presidential. What are we talking about? We're talking about his lynching remark. Trump said, impeachment, I am being lynched. Now, you know, I had visions when he said that, Emmett Till and all the lynches and all of that, you know, all the atrocities against African Americans going back in the millennium. But the fact of the matter is, many people have used, including Joe Biden, have used that term lynching. It's not unique to Trump. I didn't take it as being any pejorative racial connotation. I wasn't offended by it. I'm offended by the fact that he is being lynched, and he thinks of that by the Democrats. There's some legitimate issues with impeachment. Certainly that will be brought out over the next few weeks. We'll see where that goes with the committees. At this point in time, lynching, I think you're off base. Impeachment so far, I haven't been big on that. I think if you want to get this guy out of here, you got to vote him out. That's still the little and the big D democratic process. A lot of noise, a lot of fuel, a lot of fire, a lot of everything will be made about impeaching him with the process. Fact of the matter is, the House may vote on that. I don't know. To be determined. We already know, and Nancy Pelosi, Senate, House Speaker, has already said we can't get this guy convicted in the Senate. Republicans have already made that clear. Mitch McConnell has already said, I'm the firewall against impeachment. So we already see where that's going to go. But the other argument is, the counter-argument, hey, it brings up a lot of issues about Trump, his corruption, his criminality, his flawed and failed leadership as president. You know, the fact of the matter is, his base already knows that. They could care less. Which brings up something else. One of his attorneys in a Manhattan courtroom said he can go, you know, his famed statement, I can go out to Fifth Avenue, let me get the avenues right, Fifth Avenue in New York, and I can murder Harry Carey and Leroy Jackson. It won't make any difference. The base would still say, you know what, we didn't see it. It didn't happen. Fake news. Doesn't make any difference. There you go. Well, you know, there's a little bit of truth to that, but the fact of the matter, maybe a lot of truth to it. Matter of fact, some might even say he's already murdered, you know, tens of thousands of people without pulling a gun. Time will tell about that. We'll see where that goes. There's been another Trump official, ex-official, Jim Mattis. Remember him, former Secretary of Defense? He's written now a tell-all book, saying that Trump has done so much damage. How does he know that? I have private conversations from Trump, which essentially shows the guy's an incompetent nincompoop and a boo. I got private conversations that show that. You know what, Jim? Who gives a husky about your private conversations? Trump has already said, here we go again. We got a guy I kicked out of office who left his position. It doesn't make any difference what he says. Frankly, it doesn't make any difference what any of them say. The fact of the matter is, I can say what I want and do what I want, and I'm going to continue to do that. All right, lynching, impeachment. Oh, one other thing, too, that's important. Trump goes down to South Carolina. Thank you, Harriet. Bennett College. Some got it wrong. They said Benedict, including me. Bennett College, a historical black college in South Carolina. He goes down there and he beats up on the Democrats, saying, you, not me, are responsible for mass incarceration. Me being the Republicans. The crime bill, all the Congressional Black Caucus, they all signed on to it back in the day. Don't beat up on me. If anything, I'm the one that has now taken a step with the First Step Act to essentially lighten the burden of mass incarceration. Are we to deduce from that Trump now is Mr. Criminal Justice Reformer? I don't know. It's certainly the optics look bad for the Democrats and good for him. Lynching, criminal justice reform, impeachment, whistleblower, a big speech on ISIS. All of this looks good for Trump. Stay tuned on more. You've been listening to the Hutchinson Report podcast, Take of the Week.